All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, and also honor and salutations to those of you who have the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word in sincerity and truth. All right, so today I want to talk about something I was thinking about, and I was on the group chat and just thinking about things, meditating on things, and as obvious as it is, I had like one of those aha moments, and I was saying, you know, we really are the only ones on the earth that have this truth, and and not just GMS, but also those others who take the word seriously and are really concerned with salvation, who are really concerned with putting good vibrations out there for the nation to see. We are the only ones on earth, and I was trying to do the math. I'm not that good at math, but I was trying to do the math to see what percentage 144,000 is of the complete population. I'm sure a brother knows the answer to that, but it's a small number in the grand scheme of things. There's what they say 7 billion people on Earth, and only 144,000, and let's say, and then the 1/3 are going to, be delivered, man. And that's heavy. And aside from deliverance, right? When you look at the world, right? I was sitting here thinking through this show, and I was trying to think of an analogy, and I was thinking, I got like an image of, being on the beach, right? When it's pitch black, when you're on the beach, there are no street lights, there are no anything to illuminate the area, so it's just the stars and the moon. But if the moon isn't showing where you are, it's really dark. And I got a visual of a lighthouse, shining out into the sea, and it's the only light you can see for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. So if you're out on the ocean and you're coming to shore, that's the only light you see. And I thought of the Lord, Yahweh Shai. He's coming here, right? He's coming here to deliver our people, and we are that light. Let me not be misunderstood as saying that we're lighting the way for Yahweh Shai to come here, but we're the only things that can be seen. This is why these Christians, every time they come out, they got something to say about us, or anybody that's trying to make a name for themselves and trying to increase their views. What do? They talk about the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites or the men of the Lord. Because we're the hottest things going right now. The only like legitimate thing to talk about is the men of the Lord being. Matter of fact, let me go here since I'm thinking about it. What is that? Is it Amos? Right. This is Amos 9:9. It says, "For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations. like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth, right? And I talked about this, a few weeks back about, trying to make the cut, and those tryouts get harder and harder because the competition is now being narrowed down. Everybody that's by them second and third cuts, everybody that's there is capable of making the team. So your flaws will stand out more and more, and I pray that I make it in the cut, man. So it's a scary thought, right? But this is what the Lord is doing, right? So this is verse 10. It says, "All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us." Right? Now imagine that, right? You can get caught up in, the Lord's mercy so much where you think, I'll be all right. That ain't the case, and not to say that this scripture is talking about that in particular, but that's the thought I got, reading it just now. The Lord is tightening things up, and we gotta be on that's in the same wavelength, right? So it says, "In that day," this is the point here, "will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." See, and we are those ruins, and we're being built, right? And it's funny. I was watching. What was I watching? Generation Iron, and it was talking about the bodybuilders, and as famous as they are, it's still like an underground sport, right? And I say the same thing in this case, right? Where as popular as this thing is, right? As polarizing as a rebuilding of a nation is, it's still relatively underground. People really don't know about it, right? But in the midst of all this darkness and all this evil that you have on the earth, right? We are that light, and it's like as obvious as it is, right? As obvious as the light is, because it's the only light shining. It's still a small number. It's still a small amount compared to the darkness, right? You can see it, right? Because no other light is shining, but it's still a small light, right? So that's what's happening right now. A nation is being built before the eyes of the Lord, and I want to say this: if you have the privilege of being on a group chat and to see the minds of the men that are on that thing, man, it's an honor. It's an honor, and it's a pleasure to witness the nation of Israel being built, man. I mean, you got, in the truth as a whole, in the men of the Lord as a whole, you got ex drug dealers, ex gangbangers, ex cons, ex thieves, ex adulterers. We were just barren and desolate and wicked, and the Lord took those ruins and he blew the dust off of them, and they became whole stones again. And now he's building the walls of the city. He's building the walls of the temple with those stones, as though they were never rubble. And it's a beautiful sight to see. So anyway, as I was saying, we are the only ones that have this truth, man, and we're gonna start sticking out more and more as the darkness around us increases. We're gonna start sticking out more and more. So I just had some scriptures here that would help me to express that thought, and then I'll go ahead and get out of your way. So this is Revelation 3. So this is Revelation 14:3. It says, And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. You see? And we're the only ones that have this song, man. And I wish I could put in words the feeling I get, right? Because I'll be sitting there and I'll be listening to people talk, or I'll be watching TV, or in passing, looking at people in their state, and I go, we are really the only ones who know this truth, man. And I'll be having my hands on my head. I wish I could, put it into words, that feeling, but we really are the only people that have this wisdom. No one on the earth thinks like us. And I told this story before, I believe, but I want to say it again. Me and this guy at work, we were arguing about. We weren't arguing, but he was talking about genealogy. And I deliberately asked him. I said, "Well, what determines somebody's genealogy then?" And he goes, "Well, both parents." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He said, "Well, he cut me off before I got a chance to get it out." He says, "Well, I don't think like you. I think the normal way." And I said, so I was gonna let it go, but the way he said it, got to me a little bit. So I was like, well, the word genealogy means, seed. Like you can't have a gene without a seed. And I wish you could see him, because he kind of drops his head a couple of inches, puts his hands up, and waves them back and forth, and goes, yeah. I don't go that way. I go the normal way. But it's not the normal way. Why is consensus make something normal? But I bring that story up to say, like, we are truly the only ones that know what's going on, man. And I look at people, and not just knowing the truth, right? Not just knowing how to navigate the scriptures. I got another story too after this, but not just navigating the scriptures and knowing the scriptures, but like the mental state of people. I start to, people that I used to think were normal. I hope I don't sound arrogant or boastful, but people that used to sound normal to me, I now look at like, this motherfucker is bugging. They are out of their mind, and it's just eyebrow raising, as they say, But I was at work yesterday, last night, and I ran into this guy that that has been out at camp, and he walked by me, and he did a double take, and he kind of squinted his eyes, and he focused in on me. He said, "Oh, hey brother, how you doing, brother?" And he shook my hand, and he was like, y'all still go out there? I said, yeah, we out there downtown. We still out there in the same spot. And we chopped it up for a minute. He asked me, the dude, he said, there's this guy out in New York. I don't know if you know him. You might know him. But he mentioned Brother Polite. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know the dude. I know him, whatever. So he started talking about the dude. And he said, I don't understand why he's always trying to flip somebody's words. And, he got into it. And then he said, he looked at me and he said, one thing about y'all, though, he said, y'all know that Bible. He looked at me and said, y'all know that Bible, man. And I was like, I appreciate that, brother. We try, through the spirit of, to stay in it, man. But I tell that story to say, man, it's when people, the Elder Adama says this too, when you look at people, right, and they see us flip through these pages, they're floored. Because, most people, if they're not a Christian themselves, know a Christian, but they never seen this level of devotion and commitment to even know the scriptures. You know, I was at some like a coffee shop or something, and I was putting together some questions for the test this weekend, and somebody came up to me and he goes, hey, what you reading, brother? What you got there? What you studying? I was like, oh, I'm just reading the scriptures. A couple of brothers and myself, we pick some reading for the week, and then I'll put together a test. And he's like, okay, what you got there? And I told him what I was reading, and he goes, all right, brother, peace and blessing to you. Please, and it's just, they're not used to seeing it, man. They're not used to seeing it. And again, I say that we stick out, man. We stick out. We're the light to the world, man. We are truly becoming Tzion. For those who have ears to hear, let them hear. So let me move on to the next scripture here. This is Luke 12:35. All right, this is Luke 12:35, and I think I'm gonna read down to about 40. I think it is. Excuse me. It says, "Let your loins be girded about, and your lights burning." Right, like that lighthouse that I was thinking of. It says, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for the Lord, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. Right. So, and I read that, and I was listening, and it says, let me see, right here, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord. Right. Who else is waiting for the Lord, man? Right? I spoke about that darkness, right? That great darkness, and how that light is shining through that darkness. But the rest of the world is inundated with that darkness, man. They're covered with that darkness. They're not waiting on the Lord to come back. They don't either one, they don't think that it's possible, or two, they don't think that the Lord should come back, right? I was talking to this Levi, I'll say brother at the job. He and I are good friends. At least I like to think so. Anyway, I don't know what the dude feels about me, but we had a I guess a corporate visit, I'll say, at the job, and he was looking at the tour that was going around. And I told him I had to give a presentation, and I told him he was going to be a part of it. I was going to call him over and make him a part of the presentation. He didn't. He was like, nah, no. He's like, there's a difference between me and you. He said it in so many words. His English ain't that great, but he said, you speak English, I don't. And I was like, you do speak English. You speak English to me right now. He's like, you know what I mean. But anyway, it just, the spirit hit me, and I started preaching to him, man. I said, listen, man, these white people, it's only temporary. Their power is only temporary. I said, when I look at them, I don't look at them like they're better than me. And that's what allows me to be able to, talk to them, because I don't look at them like they're better than me. And you gotta, and I was telling them, I said, this is temporary. I said, the Heavenly Father's coming to get us out of here, man. And I just started preaching to him, man. And he was looking at, Jake, they don't want to hear that shit, but not shit, but shit to them. But, they don't want to hear that, But Salaki, I digress. Let me keep going. It says, blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them to sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them, right? So that's us, man. We're watching. You got algorithm shows and brothers that give news updates and, so forth and so on. Who else is doing that? Like, think of that, right? And I hate to always, I don't hate to do it, but, I mention the Elder Ariala a lot, but I say that to say, check out those algorithm shows, man, and ask yourself, who else in the world is doing that? who else in the world is going into, current events and linking them up to prophecy in such a dynamic way? You can't match it, man. We are the only ones in this world that have this truth, man. Okay? So this is verse 38, I believe. It says, "And if he shall come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. And this know, that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched, and not have suffered his house to be broken through. But be ye therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not." Right? And that's why we're waiting, man. We're waiting patiently. And who else is waiting for the Lord to come back? You got the most devout Christians, right? Who have been so for 30 years. My granny, she's a Christian, but she ain't waiting on the Lord like how we waiting on the Lord. She thinks she gonna, I don't know. I let me not put words into her mouth, but I say that to say these Christians, as devout as they claim to be, they themselves are not in this word the way we are. Here it is, the Christian. We're outnumbered by Christians, but why is it so that we stand out more than they do as that light, as I spoke about, right? So continuing on, this is Philippians 2 and 15. All right, it says this. Let me see. I'll start at 14. I don't like to start like in the middle of the sentence. 2 and 14, it says, "Do all things without murmurings and disputings, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the Most High, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world." You see? Check this out. Holding forth the word of life, right? That's what we stand on, these scriptures, right? The word of life. "That I may rejoice in the day of Hamashiach, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain." You see? We shine as lights in the world, man. We shine it. And this is why it was some brother that sent I wish I remember with the white boy, but the white boys was talking about, one of the camps, not us. It wasn't one of our camps, but he was talking about one of the camps, and they was, making fun of it. And I want to say this, right? You can come to our camps, right, and listen one time, and you'll remember. It'll be polarizing to you, right? It'll be something like, damn, those guys, I can't get them out of my mind, right? But you're not gonna know our jargon unless you watch more than once, right? So I say that because I wish I could remember that video of them fucking arrogant ass Edomites, but when they were talking about it, when they were recalling the situation, it was Khan. They was mocking Khan. That's right, saying Edom, and the only way they would know that jargon, the only way they would know how we deliver those types of things is if they watch on a regular basis. They were trying to make like it was like, oh, there was this one situation I had when I was passing by, me and my brother. Nah, nigga, y'all watch. Y'all, because what else is there to watch? Your kingdom is slipping away from you. What else would you watch? Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Broken Skull Challenge, that don't come on no more. Well, what are you gonna watch? Choppers and fucking Edomites with them big ass beards building them motorcycles. What are you gonna watch? So they know, man. Again, we are shining as those lights, right? So I got two more scriptures, and I'll go. Matthew Matthew 5:14, it says, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." You see? You see that? All right, and the last one, of course, Matthew 10:16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." Right? So we stand out. Imagine that, right? You saw a pack of wolves and one sheep. You gonna know who the sheep is. You won't confuse that sheep. And again, we stand out, man. We stand out in that way. All right. So with that, hopefully that was edifying. I want to give all praises, as always, to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the GMS, who rule well. And honor and salutation to those of you who are the hopeful elect. And with that, I say shalom.